what that might mean to the whole process. So let's invite our next speaker to address some of the issues of this particular argument about proximity. Rashid Bashir is a board member and partner of the public sector consulting element of Deloitte Middle East. Rashid.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Rashid Bashir. I lead our public sector consulting business for Deloitte. Deloitte is the largest professional services firm. Our revenue last year was $38 billion, and that would have been bigger than many countries from a GDP perspective. So my role is I advise governments on their big infrastructure-led transformation programs. And I was told I had 30 minutes to give a presentation on CPEC, but now time has been shrunk to 12 minutes. So I need to be very, very quick. So with that in mind, let's start. So when we invest in infrastructure projects of this size and magnitude, there is no doubt there will be number of jobs created, there will be economic benefit for Pakistan, there will be direct, indirect, and induced economic impact. That is not a question. And when people like Crossrail in the UK, when we did economic analysis there, it was very clear from day one, economic impact will be $40 billion. It was quantified, people were absolutely committed to making it happen. I'm sure you have done some analysis in Pakistan as well, where you know what would be the economic impact of this on Pakistan's economy. You know the cost of it. I'm sure you know the economic benefit as well. But that is the kind of one element. What I'm here to talk about today is not about direct, indirect, and induced economic benefit. I want to talk about how do you leverage this fantastic and phenomenal opportunity, as the senator highlighted, to transform Pakistan, and what could be the challenges that might be in the way. So that is the focus of my 12 minutes. So people talk about this in the same vein as the Marshall Plan, the European reconstruction plan after the war. And if you look at the Marshall Plan, there were some key elements there. If you look at the investment that came to Germany, that was $12 billion in today's money. It wasn't bigger than the CPEC investment we are talking about here. But what it meant was, it was not only for infrastructure. It was for capacity building, it was for economic efficiency, and also it was decided, not by the US, it was decided by the Germans where to invest the money and how to unblock their key challenges and unlock economic potential. So that, I want you to be keeping this in mind as we have this discussion. So on the face of it, we have seen numbers like 2% additional GDP growth by 2025. Even if you achieve that, 2% additional economic growth in Pakistan will not be higher than India or Bangladesh. It will still be falling behind. So direct, indirect, and induced economic benefit and 2% additional GDP growth will not take you there. There are some fundamental challenges that we must address. And that brings me to the Global Competitiveness Rankings report that was issued recently. Pakistan currently stands 126th out of 140 nations. So this is where we need to focus. If we want to absolutely benefit this leadership and direction and the wider geoeconomics and geopolitical coming of minds together in the region, we must address these things. So if you look at, for example, innovation, if you look at education, if you look at macroeconomic environment, we are lagging behind in a big way. So we have 40% people illiterate, for example. How are we going to leverage CPEC to address that? I think this is going to be a fundamental question for this nation. As you move forward, how are you going to leverage this opportunity and have a national narrative and a national plan that is going to address some fundamental issues. Because unless we address this, an investor sitting anywhere in the world, unless he's getting 34% return on equity and 14% on debt, they will not come to this country and say, well, brilliant, because we are not number 50, we are not number 25, we are not number 120, it's 126 below Nepal. I'm sorry to say, but this is the reality, and we must address that. So how do we move forward? What can we do? And I have no doubt, and I fully agree as an economist and somebody who actually works with various governments to transform the economies, it is a phenomenal opportunity. So what I suggest, and this is the kind of some frameworks we use, this is one of those that we have used in the past as well. First of all, what is the context for the strategy? Having a very clear plan. Every single stakeholder, and that includes your people, should know that we are on this journey, and this journey means this much in this way, and this is how it's going to deliver outcomes for me. Okay? And that was the Marshall Plan, obviously, the example there. And also, you should have a local content strategy. Let me give you an example here. So you are building metros, you're building roads, port will be there. How much of that will be leveraged to induce local industry? For example, we talk about Turkey here as well in Pakistan, I understand quite a lot, right? Turkey Istanbul bought its first second-hand train from Germany in 1998. Second-hand, first train for metro, 1998. When we were advising the mayor of Riyadh, as they are building a $30 billion Riyadh metro project, we went to Turkey and I met with the Istanbul mayor, and he told me how they used that first train import to then have their local economy and local industry working together to create their own homemade first train that went onto tracks in 2014. Right? I saw that train. He took me to his workshop. He said, this train is going to be coming on the tracks in 2 months. What they did was, they said, we are going to borrow this, or the train. We are then going to ask investors, first of all, to buy spare parts locally. So I'm going to go into spare parts industry. Secondly, I'm going to do R&D in my universities to build systems for trains. And I'm going to get the builders and the global companies to come and invest in Turkey. So they buy local, they employ my people, and they use my technology, and they bring their own, and this is the vision. And my question to you is, do we have a vision to create local trains, local ships in Pakistan, and leveraging, in my opinion, a fantastic asset that we have in the military? The military assets and the knowledge and innovation that we have, that could be leveraged immensely in this if we work together. So working together, having a vision for local content so Pakistan can become the exporters. And Turkey has now become exporters. They are now exporting to Saudi Arabia. I know they exported to Lahore, the Metro Bus project, right? This is the ambition that Pakistan should have. And this is the only way it will be transformative. Then we move into a building capacity, local capacity and leadership. Who is going to lead this change? Are we ready for it? Are we ready to change the economic structure of this country? And also, institutional transformation. Are we going to have institutions that are able to take this forward? I am sure when somebody is making $57 billion investment, they have institutional capacity to manage that. Do we have that? Are we going to build it? When are we going to build this? If we get these things in place, in my opinion, this can be a game changer, absolutely. And finally, it's having a very clear set of choices and interlinked choices. The choices around where to play and how to win. So where to play is the vision. The vision the national narrative that will say, this is what we are going to do. And I have heard some of this, by the way, and it may be unfair that I'm saying this because I haven't been exposed to it. I live in the Middle East, so this is going to be critical. And then having a clarity on what are we going to be known for? What is going to be our export strategy on the back of this initiative? We don't want to only consume Chinese goods here. We are going to use that as an opportunity to build our own industry because we can do it. And then where to play. And this is going to be a key one in terms of regional competitiveness, in terms of your cities competing, and what are they going to be famous for, what infrastructure you're going to build around that, how we will win, what is going to be the unique advantage that we are going to put in place. Is it going to be skills, innovation, technology, all those things? And you can also, by the way, use the regulation to your advantage. So we were with a governor of Arizona. You may have heard the driverless cars and the accidents in California. And the California state said, we do not want to have these tests anymore. So the governor of Arizona made a point of standing on the border with California and waving those people in, saying, come into Arizona, do your tests here. Because you can't break much in Arizona anyway. And secondly, I am going to use my legislative and my regulatory environment to build this industry in Arizona and compete with other states in the US. Now, my question to you is, are we thinking about turning Gwadar city into the first proper smart city in the world? So we heard about IoT, we heard about digital, we hear about power infrastructure, and if you look at Karachi or Lahore, you have legacy infrastructure in place. Replacing that is costly. Can you build that from scratch in Gwadar? Can you go to those companies who are struggling to test their new technologies because it is putting that technology on the back of your legacy systems? You say, come here, everybody, wave everybody into Gwadar. The big companies with the vision, with the passion that says, like Governor of Arizona, come into Gwadar and we will be known for the first proper, purpose-built, biggest smart city in the world. And that can change, and that will be transformative. And this is where you bring in your PhDs. You send people overseas to learn smart cities, IoT, and your investment that was announced yesterday, 80 billion rupees, invest that in that rather than PhDs, because that may be more impactful. So if you look at Dubai, for example, right, it is insignificant in the context of Pakistan and its economy. I understand that, and I appreciate this. But Dubai has become the largest airport in the world from passenger traffic perspective, international passengers, right? And when they announced the next airport, even the bigger one, and the Sheikh Mohammed said, I do not want to be the largest airport. It is not the largest airline or the highest number of passengers. I want us to become the global capital of aviation. I want to bring in R&D. I want to bring in different customer skills and different customer techniques and technologies to become the global capital of aviation. What is the ambition? After Gwadar, CPEC, what will the world say about Pakistan? Did we build the biggest tower? Did we build the first smart city? Did we create the first Nobel Prize winner on the back of this? What is going to be the one thing we can say, absolutely we achieved this? And I know we can do this. We did nuclear weapon, right? That is massive. If we can do this, we can do anything. I think political commitment is there. I believe you have the right human resources. But there is a real danger of CPEC becoming Suez Canal, right? There was a potential for Egypt to transform on the back of that. But Let us not slip this opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. I encourage you to think about this in a much bigger way and join the forces with government and businesses and also civil society to ensure that we make this opportunity count. These opportunities are once in a generation. You have one. Please make the most of it. Thank you.
Rashid Bashir, thank you. So One Belt, One Road may well transform the region. CPEC may well improve Pakistan's economic prospects.